This simple app is generating passively $10,000 a day. And as we do on this channel, I copied the entire thing without writing a single line of code. I'm serious. I have zero coding knowledge, zero development experience. It's just me, the magic that is AI, and an idea. What if I told you that right now there are apps already making millions that could be replicated by anyone like you and me, smart enough to see the opportunity? This isn't just about creating something revolutionary. No, it's about using AI to build something that already works. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built a complete clone of SnoreLab. It's one of the most successful health tracking apps out there, and I did all of that just using one AI tool. From the first step to the last step, I'll walk you through how I added payment processing with Stripe, how I added premium features, and how I set everything up for passive income. Now, 3 months ago, I couldn't have built a basic Hello World website. Today, I'm watching an app that I built completely with AI. It's like the game has completely changed, and most people haven't even realized it yet. But hey, with you and I, by the end of this video, you will know how to clone any app and their functionalities using AI and generate revenue, again, all without writing a single line of code. The AI tool that we're going to use today is Replit, and with my code Mikey, M-I-K-E-Y, you will get a 10% discount and full access to the Replit agent. I added the link in the description down below. Now, to kick things off today, we will ask the Replit agent to create the foundation of a snoring tracker app, something that records, measures, and visualizes our snoring data. We also ask for a clean, modern landing page that actually looks good on mobile phones because, well, let's be real. If it doesn't work on a phone, nobody's using it. I bring my phone to bed all the time, and it responds instantly. Now, we've got a homepage that shows off the app's features, including a few testimonials, and ends with a simple CTA, a call to action. Now, it's already feeling like something you'd scroll through on an actual app site. Now, behind the scenes, it also builds out a full dashboard, and we're talking about analytics, a list of our snoring recordings, and individual views for each one, complete with visualizations and event markers. It's kind of wild to think about how much it gets right from the start, and you can see that we're not just looking at a simple mock-up here, because if you look at your screen, we've got a real structure with working sections. Now, after setting up our dashboard, the next step is getting playback working. So from here, we will ask Replit to add an audio player so our users can listen to their recordings directly inside of the app. And you can see here that Replit builds a reusable audio player component, and it even adds it to the dashboard, updating the recording list to include a play button for each item. All right, so far so good. Everything looks ready, but since there is no actual recording of me snoring yet, clicking start recording does throw us an error, but that's okay because all we have to do is let Replit know what's actually happening, and it will quickly respond by using a sample audio file for testing, not me actually snoring. Now, the player loads correctly, and when we do hit play, we finally get some sound coming out of it. And with that working, we can try saving a real 12-second recording. Apart from that, Replit is also fixing the date validation. It's also improving how data types are handled, and it's also making sure that our recordings are sorted by US first. The file saves, it shows the right timestamp, but then it starts also playing back silence. So to fix that, again, it's easy. We just ask Replit to improve the recorder and the upload system. And after that, Replit adds error handling, it prevents empty files from being saved, and it also fixes that annoying pause error during playback. It also introduces a proper loading state while files are uploading. So let's go ahead and test it again, but with a longer 16 15-second clip. That saves, but still no audio, and now the timestamps are kind of missing too. So again, all we have to do is let Replit know, and right away it steps up by adding support for WAV and WebM files. It fixes how durations are played, and it also updates the server to include audio metadata in the response. Now finally, again, we can try a 17-second test this time around. Now from where we started, this is a pretty major upgrade. Recording and playback aren't just functional anymore. No, they're more than that. They're solid and reliable. Since the app can now record and play audio, the next thing I want is a way for our users to download those recordings of them snoring, especially if they're using them for medical reasons. So here, I'm going to ask Replit to add an audio export feature. I describe it as a tool that lets users download their snoring recordings along with some basic information like duration and timestamps, and it's all packaged for medical use. Now Replit starts by creating a dedicated export component. It updates the API to support exporting files, and then it sets up a direct download system that will handle everything from generating the download file to formatting the metadata that goes with it. It also makes sure the downloaded files that those are labeled properly, including a text file with all of the relevant recording details, and it also handles the technical side like blob URLs and automatic cleanup after download. Of course, we gotta test it, so I'll record a 15-second snoring sample and I'll hit the export button, and it works. The audio downloads immediately, and right next to it, as you can see here, is a text file with all of the metadata of the recording, the timestamp, the duration, and a label saying it is for medical reference. The whole export flow feels solid now, and it's also ready to use. Now, once our users can save and then export their recordings, the next thing I want to add to our app is a way to track their sleep quality over time, not just isolated snoring clips. So I'm going to ask Replit to build a sleep stats feature. I'll describe it as basic analytics, a dashboard that logs sleep duration, snoring time, and any disruptions that happen during the night while I'm sleeping. So Replit starts by updating the shared data model to include these new fields. Then it updates the storage interface so that the app can save and retrieve sleep stats properly. After that, it creates new API endpoints and builds out a client-side component to display everything. During the process, Replit also fixes a few bugs like inconsistent property names and some typing issues in the sleep stats overview.tsx file. And once the fixes are done, Replit will restart the app to load everything back in. And as you can see, now our dashboard has a full sleep monitoring section. It shows how long the user slept, and it also logs snoring events along with breathing patterns, and even gives a basic sleep quality score. It's clean, it's visual, and way more helpful than just browsing a list of random snoring recordings. And now, to make the app more useful for people trying different ways to reduce their snoring while they're sleeping, let's ask Replit to add a new feature called remedies tracking. And the idea for this is simple. It gives our users a form and a database to log any anti-snoring methods they've already tried, like devices or lifestyle changes or treatments, and also rate how well those worked. Replit starts by updating the schema to include a new remedies table. It then sets up the storage layer to handle remedy entries, creating the necessary API endpoints, and then builds a new form component for users to submit remedies. It also updates our dashboard layout to make space for this new section. And once everything is in place, a new panel shows up in the dashboard, and it's labeled a remedies tracking. Now, this section includes an overview of how the feature works and also also a form where users can input their own entries. So of course we gotta test it out, and we'll enter a sample remedy. Humidifier. Let's fill in the details like date, side effects, how effective the humidifier was, the remedy type, description, and a few personal notes. And after submitting, the entry is logged under active remedies, where all previously recorded remedies are listed. Powerful feature that helps our users track what's actually helping them sleep better. Since short clips are useful but don't capture the full picture, I'm gonna ask Replit again to build an overnight audio recording feature. Now, what this will let our users do is record their snoring and any sleep sounds across an entire sleeping session. And to handle that, Replit expands the recorder functionality to support longer recordings, and also adds a sleep session scheduling interface so that our users can start and stop sessions properly. It also builds new analysis tools for the longer audio files, and also updates the storage system of our app to manage this new type of recording. Then it sets up new API endpoints specifically for overnight sessions, places them correctly in the server routes, and also adds debugging tools to help identify issues during or after a sleep session. Pretty cool stuff. It also improves how event data is tracked at the end of each session for better analysis. Again, to test it out, let's run a mock session using sample snoring sounds. And after a 2-minute recording, you can see here that the session saves automatically, and it also appears under past sessions. Clicking View Details shows a breakdown of the recording. Everything looks to be working pretty smoothly. The audio is captured, the timeline is interactive, and all of the UI elements are clickable. Overnight recording is now fully functional. Good stuff. And this brings the app one step closer to being a fully functional sleep monitoring application and tool. And at this point, we've got recording, playback, and even full overnight sessions. So it makes sense, right, to go a little bit further to take that extra step and add some intelligence to the mix. Specifically, a feature that can automatically detect snoring sounds. So to do that, I'm going to ask Replit to build an intelligent snoring detection system that uses algorithms to identify snoring in either real-time recordings or uploaded audio. I also mentioned it can be built in Python for better audio analysis. And Replit starts by installing Python and setting up the necessary libraries for audio processing and machine learning. It also creates a dedicated directory for the Python code and starts building the snoring detection module. Once the backend is in place, Replit will now work on connecting it to the front end. It updates the sleep session visualization.tsx file to integrate a new snoring detection analyzer component. It also creates a client-side library for snoring detection and connects it all to the existing visualization system of our app. And after a few tweaks here and there, the feature is ready. As you can see inside the sleep session section, there's now a full intelligent snoring detection panel. It shows a detailed breakdown of snoring events throughout the night, along with sleeping environment data like background noise and even room temperature. With snoring detection in place, I want to go another step further and add a feature that doesn't just listen, but also responds. And for that, all we have to do is ask Replit to create a smart alarm, a wake-up tool that can be triggered by either snoring intensity or sleep cycles. Here, Replit starts by building a new component for the smart alarm and then integrates it directly into the session detail page. It also goes through the JSX file, makes edits across the layout, and checks for any console errors that might break functionality. And once the structure is solid, we can now test the feature by clicking the Enable button, setting a wake-up time, and then choosing a snoring intensity threshold. Now, the smart alarm is fully configurable. You can adjust the time, you can adjust the volume, the snoring detection sensitivity, and even adjust the activate sleep cycle optimization so it wakes you up at the right moment. It's subtle but a smart upgrade that turns passive sleep tracking into something more proactive. Now, to help our users understand their snoring changes over time, let's ask Replit to add a trend analysis feature. And the goal here is to visualize long-term patterns across days, weeks, and even months. Replit starts by checking the existing data model and then updating the schema to support historical snoring data, and then updates the storage interface and adds a new method specifically for pulling trend data. Next, it creates a new page for trend analysis and hooks it into the app's navigation. It also fixes a few UI issues like broken navigation links in mobile view and adds proper error handling for data fetching. Finally, it ensures that the layout and container components stay consistent across devices. Everything is now in place, so we're going to go ahead and head to the new trend analysis page. You can see here clear charts tracking snoring intensity, duration, and frequency over time. You can also switch between weekly, monthly, and yearly views, compare sleep quality alongside snoring data, and even see personalized insights and recommendations. There's also a view for tracking the effectiveness of remedies that we might be trying out, so you can see what's actually making a difference. Now, to make the app work better in real-life sleep conditions, I'm going to ask Replit to add background operation. And what this allows is for the app to keep recording even when the phone is locked or while using other applications. Now, Replit starts that by building a utility for background recording. It now creates a new file called backgroundrecorder.ts, sets up server routes to handle background session heartbeats, and updates the existing audio recorder to support this new functionality. Then it improves the implementations across the board, fixing things like duration tracking with get duration, adding proper type checking for the media recorder pause and resume methods, also improving error handling around wake locks and tightening up the null checks and typecasting. On top of all that already, Replit enables periodic audio chunk capture in the background and makes sure those recordings are saved and merged into the sleep session history. To test it, we can turn on background mode, start recording, and then switch over to, let's say, another app, just browsing or searching something on Google. And even while I am multitasking on my device, the recording keeps running. So good stuff. Everything stays active in the background and the audio gets saved just like a normal session. It's actually a must-have for any real-world use, and now it works seamlessly in our app. Now, to make sure the app runs efficiently during long sleep sessions, especially overnight, I'm going to ask Replit to add a battery optimization feature. Nobody wants to wake up to a dead battery in the mornings. So Replit worked on it by creating a utility file to handle power-saving logic. Then it builds a new UI component to display battery status and lets our users tweak optimization settings on their own device. Next, it connects the background recorder to this new system and updates the check permissions method so that, it respects the user's battery preferences. It also modifies the perform wake task method to be battery friendly and also reduces unnecessary operations during recording. recording. Now, on the user interface side, Replit adds a scrollable battery settings dialog and refines the layout for a cleaner experience. And we can test it by switching power profiles and then plugging the device into a charger. You see that? The app now detects the changes and adjusts in real time, just like it should. This keeps the app running while using less battery, which is especially useful for overnight use. Now next, I want to add a premium plan to unlock advanced features and integrate it with Stripe for payments. After telling Replit, it sets up the schema changes first, adding a new subscriptions table and updating the user model to support subscription data. Then it wires in the Stripe backend logic through the server routes. So I'll grab the Stripe API keys from the dashboard, both the public key for the front end and the secret key for the server, and then I'll paste them into the Replit agent to complete the setup for me. And after that, Replit creates the Stripe price IDs and also updates the subscription plans with those values. The checkout form is also updated using Stripe elements for a smooth payment experience. So, of course, let's go ahead and test it. We can select the premium plan and complete a test payment using Stripe's sample card details. And once the payment goes through, the premium status will be instantly activated. Now, the dashboard now shows a premium badge, and all advanced features are unlocked for our premium users, including full session analysis, background recording, audio export, and a whole bunch more. At this point, the app's got all the core features, but we still need a way for users to actually sign up and then save their data. So I just asked Replit to handle account creation, including full login and sign up functionality. It sets up the authentication system for us, building out the forms and connecting everything to the main layout. Replit also adds a nice touch. Once a user logs in, their profile icon shows up in the top right of the screen. After testing it, the whole thing works as expected. Sign up is smooth, login works right away, and the UI updates based on who signed in. It gives the app a proper sense of ownership, like it's actually built for real people, not just test data. And that's a wrap. We've built a complete snoring tracker app, fully functional, top to bottom. Thank you for watching this video from the first step to the last step. If you have any questions, get in touch with me in the comments section below, and I'll see you at the next one.